Carpenter's gift. Imagine working hard all your life only to find out that your biggest mistake was one you couldn't undo. What if I told you that the shortcuts you take today might come back to haunt you in ways you never expected? This is the story of Daniel, a humble carpenter who thought he was building a house for someone else until he discovered he'd been building his own fate all along. And the lesson? Well, by the time he realized it was too late. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more powerful and life-changing stories like this. Now let's dive in. Daniel was an honest man, a skilled carpenter, the kind of person who believed in hard work and faith. He had spent years building houses for others, but he had never owned one himself. One day, the village chief, Chief A, gave him a golden opportunity. Daniel, the chief said,
I want you to build the finest house in this village. Use the best materials and take your time. This house must be strong.
Daniel was honored, but confused. Who will live in this house, Chief? Chief Ada only smiled. Just build it as if you were building it for yourself. Daniel had no idea that this project would change his life forever. At first, he worked with all his heart. He carefully selected the finest wood, the strongest nails, and the best roofing materials. But as the days passed, a thought crept into his mind. This is my chance to save some money, he whispered to himself. Instead of using the best wood, he bought a cheaper one. Instead of strong nails, he used weak ones. No one will know, he thought. The house will still look beautiful on the outside. Little did he know, his decisions would come back to haunt him in a way he never imagined. After months of work, the house was complete. From the outside, it looked perfect. The villagers praised Daniel's craftsmanship. Chief Aide arrived and carefully inspected the house. He nodded in approval. Then he did something unexpected. He reached into his robe, pulled out a key, and handed it to Daniel. This house belongs to you, the chief said. Daniel's heart stopped. What? He whispered. Yes, the chief continued. I built this house for a faithful servant, and you, Daniel, are that servant. Daniel felt the weight of the key in his palm. The house he had built, the one where he had taken shortcuts, used weak materials and rushed the work, was now his own home. His knees went weak, his heart pounded. He had deceived no one but himself. That night, he couldn't sleep. He walked through the house, running his hands along the walls, the doors, the windows. Everywhere he looked, he saw his mistakes, the cracks in the foundation, the hollow sound of weak wood, the rust beginning to form on the cheap nails. Tears filled his eyes. Oh Lord, he cried, I thought I was being clever, but I was only cheating myself. Daniel finally understood a powerful truth. Everything we build in life, whether it's our work, our relationships, or our faith, will one day come back to us. If we build with dishonesty, we will live with regret. If we take shortcuts, we will face the consequences. And worst of all, we may not realize it until it's too late. If this story is speaking to you right now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We bring you more powerful faith-based stories that will transform your life. The next morning, Daniel went to Chief Aide. Chief, he said, his voice trembling, I must confess, I did not build the house with integrity. Chief Aide looked at him with a knowing smile. I know, Daniel. Daniel's eyes widened. You knew? Chief Aide nodded. God tests our hearts in ways we don't expect. You thought you were building this house for someone else, but you were building it for yourself all along. Daniel fell to his knees. I want to make it right, Chief. The chief placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Then start again, Daniel, but this time, build it with integrity. And so, Daniel tore down the weak parts of the house and rebuilt them. It took time, but this time he did it the right way. The house became more than just a home. It became a lesson to the entire village. A lesson that integrity is more valuable than quick gains. Everything we build in life will one day return to us. God tests our character in unexpected ways. So I ask you, what kind of house are you building in your life? Are you taking shortcuts? Are you cutting corners in your work, your relationships, your faith? Because one day, just like Daniel, you might have to live with what you've built. If this story has touched your heart, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, in life you are always building something. Build wisely. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Colossians 3:23-9.